I have somebody with me who has been voted by the Elite magazine as top 50 influential Indians. I have Gaurav Wadhwa from Theos. What is the meaning of Theos? Why this name? When the idea struck you? What was the reaction of your parents when you said, I am not going to do medicine and I want to bake the cakes? What was the vision that you had in your mind when you bring a product on the shelf? How many trials do you give it that you succeed?
Are a self-funded bootstrap kind of a setup, so it was always about what kind of funds do we have available.
How much is a brand as a product versus a perception?
It's about going and imagining things in your mind and then kind of putting them out.
What is the big mistake or the major brand mistake that you did? How do you ensure that creativity, that authenticity, that emotion still there in the brand, in the products while scaling up?
Listen boss, you are not Taj, you are Theos, so don't talk like Taj.
How do you gain customer loyalty?
We don't formulate our products keeping a price benchmark or a competition benchmark. We formulate our product basis what we believe in and we make a product.
How will you ensure consistent quality, consistent branding, the experience while you scale? Your selection criteria, what do you look for in people while hiring? If somebody wants to build something like this again, what are the tips you would want to give it to them? It's an institution in itself which he has envisioned. They're going on a market expansion. They should be touching close to 100 crores of revenue by the end of this fiscal. A business that is purely built on ethics, something that Gaurav prides with, that he has not bribed anybody, not something very common in India. Jai Hind friends, welcome or welcome back to Revelations with Manas Ji. How many times you have heard that somebody who was about to become a doctor decided to leave the medical seat and then pursue something which is totally different in the career? Well, I have somebody who topped in a school as far as biology is concerned, a good student all the time, cleared a medical seat, and went back to the parents and said, sorry, I don't want to become a doctor, I want to bake the cakes. Well, I'm not saying that medicine is not a great profession and baking is great and vice versa, but the essence is the gentleman had the conviction to follow his heart and follow what he believed in at the times when this was not something very common. How he went about it, how he built up a business, a premium bakery brand. This is for those. It is also for the entrepreneurs to understand how you build a brand, how you price a product, what are the challenges that you face, how you hold your ground. I have somebody with me who has been voted by the Elite magazine as top 50 influential Indians. He's also been voted, his restaurant rather has been voted as 9 times in a row the best by Times magazine. No points for guessing. I have Gaurav Wadhwa from Theos. Gaurav, thanks a lot for joining in.
Thank you so much, Manas, and it was a lovely introduction. Just a little correction over there. It's not Time magazine, or I don't want the audience to get it wrong. It's not the Time magazine as yet. It's the Times Food Award, and we've been awarded 9 consecutive years. We've been winning Times Food Award, and very grateful for that.
Thank you for the correction. That's perfectionist Gaurav, always looking for the detail. What is the meaning of Theos? Why this name? When the idea struck you?
Theo means God. When I was studying my hospitality management, I did come across that Theo also features as the name, scientific name of the chocolate tree. This Theobroma cocoa is basically the scientific name of the tree or the plant from where we get cocoa.
Okay.
So when I was studying about chocolate in my career in 2001, I came across this name and it was very exciting. So I was like, whenever I would want to open something of my own, I will definitely call it Theo. And then Theo basically got converted into Theos, and that's how you see it today. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is when you, so this was like in your college, you started dreaming about it and planning about it?
Yeah. I was very clear about what I wanted to do right from the very start of my college journey. Now, this is something which has been a little different for me. I did not discover what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do, and then I started to study about it and do my education in that field. And so when I meet kids these days and I see that they are still exploring when they are 23, 24, 25, and they are kind of, they always have this answer that we are exploring whatever would work for us, we will go in that direction. uh, which is good, fair enough, and all. It's good to explore, but it's also very important. Or maybe, for somebody like me who had limited means, I never had those many number of years to give myself to explore and kind of see where it is going and all. For me, it was, there was no other choice. I had to kind of speed it up.
When you started, um, of course, you had pineapple pastry, and
Yes.
so did many other shops.
Yes.
Why somebody bought it from you?
Okay, so
What's the USP?
yeah, so here we are talking about something very specific, and great that we are talking about something very specific. So we are talking about a pineapple pastry.
Hang on.
Now,
Let me just add in there. I am using pineapple pastry as an example. I'm saying basically you got into a space which, on the face of it, to a consumer like me, is a commodity space,
yeah.
right? How did you build a niche into that, or how
So I'll
you
break
become a
it down
premium
for
brand?
you.
Yeah.
I'll break it down for you. Now, see, the thing is that, and I'm glad that you brought that example, because I think this will be a revelation for a lot of people. So there can be two ways to go about making a pineapple pastry. One is I do my research. I go to say five patisseries who are doing best pineapple pastry, get a pineapple pastry from each one of them, break it down, taste every element, and kind of form my product or formulate my product on those lines, because these products are accepted, these products are selling in the market. So this is a benchmark, and we must also calibrate ourselves to the same
And
benchmark.
probably you'll get the recipes also for them.
So recipes wise, like I told you, that if you are educated enough, or if your education has been in the same field, it won't be a rocket science for you to break it down.
Yeah.
So when you kind of go layer by layer, you will be able to break it down and understand, okay, they have used pineapple in it, a fresh one or a canned one, or they have used this much of pineapple, that's the cream, that's the ratio, and you will be able to replicate the product for yourself or for your brand. I never did that. Instead, what I did was, what kind of pineapple pastry will I enjoy? What kind of pineapple pastry do I love? And I started working towards creating something that would work for my palate and for myself as a chef. And created this pineapple pastry, which we kept it on the shelf. And now, but obviously, this has a relatable factor to a lot of people who have tasted pineapple pastry other places. But at the same time, this is giving them something different from the others, which is a big risk.
And how do
Now,
you know that
here,
you're getting something different? Because it's something that you like. But how do you know it's giving something different?
yeah, because why is it different is because it's not modeled on anything that I have seen or experienced before. It's something which is expression of my imagination. Like if an
It's
MF
your IP.
Hussain, if an MF Hussain would sit down to paint something on a canvas, there are two ways to do it. You have many sketch artists. There are many people who make replicas of paintings, don't they? So, but for an MF Hussain, what he's doing is he is bringing his expression or his imagination onto the canvas through his brush. And this is very exciting. At the same time, you don't know, there are many a times when you kind of put it out on the canvas and you realize that this is not very different from others, because sometimes your imagination is also kind of influenced with what you have grown up eating, what you have seen, and what you have tasted. So it happens all the time, but then it's very organic. But what I'm happy about is that it's a true expression of what I like. And Theo's, even till date, is an expression of what kind of stuff I believe in, I like. Yes, there is a bit of a consumer sensibilities, consumer choices, which are respected, but the product is not largely modeled or made with that thought in the mind.
So it has never happened that you went to a nice pastry and you were walking on some streets where you tasted something nice and you said, "Hey, this is really nice. Let me go and replicate this."
It does happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But when it comes to replicating it, replicating does not involve me getting that particular product to my kitchen and then breaking into it and then replicating it. How the process happens is, like, for example, in my recent tour to Italy, I discovered a lot of Italian patisserie products which are towards the Naples side. So, like a fogliatella or a baba or rum and all those things. Now, again, these are not the products which have been created by a particular patisserie or a particular pastry shop by a particular chef. Fogliatella, Baba or Ram, all these exist. They have been recorded in the books with what we read. There is a lot of reading material that's available. So I go down, I start researching on it, I start reading about it, I start understanding that product, how it was invented, who invented it, what was the objective behind creating that particular product. And from there you pick it up and then you kind of start working towards it. Obviously this involves a lot of recipe research also on the way. Then you kind of come across the first draft of that product. Sometimes the first draft is bang on and you are like, I have cracked a great product. Sometimes you start comparing it to what the other product that you had tasted. Is it at par, better, or not good enough?
But then this is food. I mean, your better may not be my better.
Very true. But I am running a store which is run by me. So, and I do understand that in out of 100 people who visit Theos, not everybody would like it because not everybody is aligned with my taste buds. But at the same time, I just don't know how to make food or something for the other person which would please him because I can't understand the taste palette of another person. I can only take the reference from my own taste buds.
So you're making a very interesting point. And if I had replaced pastries with any product, essentially what you're saying as an entrepreneur, right? That, okay, I can't please all the customers, but I'm going to deliver what I think is the best product, what is best for me, right? Without not by disregarding a customer, but not getting overwhelmed with that, right? Is that a right way to put it?
Yeah, but having said that, it's not coming out of stubbornness. It's not, it's not about you being stubborn about what you feel is right. It's giving value to the kind of research that you have done or the kind of work that you have put in behind creating that particular dish.
So let me ask one thing. When you bring a product on the shelf, how many trials do you give it that you succeed? I mean, so is it like you try 10 products and they all are smash it,
Yeah.
or what's the hit ratio like? How many
Well,
times do you fail if you fail?
so with experience you fail less, and that's where you need to be experienced enough to be able to prejudge the faults before committing that. Whenever I'm kind of moving ahead with the trial, I keep reminding myself that any doctor or any scientist, whenever they are making something, like if we are making, say, a spaceship and it has to go to moon or whatever is there, do they get many trials? Do they have the option of, okay, I'm trying something, it may not work? So with the kind of precision and responsibility that they do their trials and they formulate a product, I do walk into the kitchen with that kind of kind of a responsibility. But at the same times, yes, it does take a couple of times to kind of get it right, because here people would want to see and buy.
Yeah,
There
it's
they
been
know
running,
and they buy. So people, I mean,
that you got it right.
it's kind of lot of products surprise you also. So it's been almost about 3 months that we've been working on that product. I'm still not satisfied, so it's still not there on the shelf. So
Not
till the time I'm not kind of totally convinced that yes, this product will definitely be something that people, what they expect from us after tasting a tres leches, that we would come with a 2.0 version. Like, I don't want to create a, they say, the next
sequel movie,
episode or
like
next sequel or prequel. which is
Not working out.
less entertaining than the previous one, but would sell on the backing of the previous one.
So you're a maverick that who wants to improve with every
Hope
gun that
so.
he fires,
Hope
right?
so. Hope so.
God bless your team.
Yeah.
How do you build it up? How much is a brand as a product versus a perception?
Well, as much as everybody would want to have it this way, that the brand is as good as the product, most of the times, unfortunately, it is not like that. But why it is not like that is not necessarily the fault with the brand. It could also be your expectations from a particular brand. So now, when you walk into a place with zero expectation, trust me, everything's gonna wow you because you walked in with no
Right.
expectation. Let me give you an example. Back in the day when we opened up our Sector 41 outlet, and it is next to a village, and it's something which has got, in those days it used to have cows and buffaloes parked at the entrance, welcoming guests and all those things.
Quite exotic.
And, the entrance was something that would be a big put off. But the moment you opened those doors and walked into Theos, it was a different world altogether. So, my idea was that when you walk in with no expectations, and the moment you
Was it a
open the
deliberate
door
move?
and you walk into this whole store, and then the food, then the other things, then the service, and then everything on top of that is like kind of taking your journey from one level to the other, you are surely bound to walk out happy.
So it was a deliberate move too?
It wasn't a deliberate move. No, it wasn't a deliberate move. Like I said, that we are a self-funded, bootstrap kind of a setup. So it was always about what kind of funds do we have available, how much can we do in what we have, what is available, what options were available, and making the best use of whatever best option we could figure out.
So when did you realize that, you've arrived in a sense that this is it, I've become a brand? I mean, was it like,
No, not even till now. I don't think so. I mean, I would ever want to tell myself that I've arrived and this is it. No, no, not at all.
did you have the moments like, okay, fine, so many people are waiting for my stuff. They're opening for the store to
No,
open. So this is
no,
my
not
day
at
and,
all.
I'm
Not at
there.
all. Not at all. I feel that, yes, we've come a long way, but I think there is a lot more that we can do, we must do, and we have potential to do for.
What is the most essential part of building a brand or trusted brand component?
The trust that people have or they put in you, the kind of expectations with which they come to you, the kind of emotions that are attached with the company, with your brand, and the care that you would want to give to everybody who is associated with your company or your brand is very, very important. And I think brand is nothing but if you have the honesty or the kind of uh, the want in you to live up to the trust that people have in you,
Is it about consistency?
that comes along with it. It's brand basically is more to align the company than to make sales. When it comes to a brand as such, so brand is more of a responsibility of the owners of the company than it is a selling point for them. Because what happens is, it's like, let's understand it this way, that when you are a no one, you can walk around freely, do whatever you want to do. But when you are a known figure or when you are a celebrity, you need to be very careful about your actions. You need to be, you need to kind of manage yourself. Similarly, when you are just another company, you have that freedom to take your chances of, or kind of, not delivering at times. Maybe you are not feeling okay, then you may just close the shop at say 8 o'clock and wind up that day. But when you are a brand, no matter what the situation is, you need to behave like a brand. So It's more that way.
So you behave and you become a brand, or you become a brand or you behave.
It's always you behave and you become a brand. So this is another learning that I have had, and I really keep it with me, is that I was told that uh, I mean, in early on when I was switching from Taj to Theos, everything that I was kind of putting out and all, and I was writing and I was talking to people, I was explaining them what kind of energy and vision I have, and everybody would tell me, hey, listen boss, you are not Taj, you are Theos, so don't talk like Taj. For a moment, I used to always feel that maybe, but what I got corrected on was, or what I feel one should do is, I told everybody that I need to behave like Taj from today to become a Taj. It cannot happen when I will become a Taj. So you do what you have to do from the beginning and then you reach where you have to reach. There is never such a situation that, okay, I will start doing this when I will reach there. It doesn't happen.
So I totally respect that, but doesn't it sound, or does it sound a bit arrogant at times? And what's the line between arrogance and confidence in that case, or aspirational?
No, so it's not about arrogance, it's about taking yourself seriously, like just to, like, okay, I will walk like this when I will become a celebrity, or I will dress like this when I will become a celebrity. I always dress like this, I always walk like this, no matter whether I'm a common man or a celebrity. Now, this is the difference which is there. I mean, you do get polished, yes, I agree, but polishing also can happen only on a gold or a silver or a diamond, you know. You can't be a, like, how much can you polish a clay pot or whatever, you know, you cannot beyond a point. So the substance has to be there in you, and then you can polish it. So that DNA has to be there.
So I want to tell this to all the viewers. As I'm listening to you, I'm trying to replace every bakery jargon in my mind with something very general. So when you say pastry, I decipher it as product. When you say uh, creativity, I think about the thought process. Because that's the best way for me to absorb and relate to whatever you're saying. And I hope people are also able to derive that value out of this, because when I was thinking about conversing with you, it was not about just bringing out the best of the chef and best of the big. I really wanted to understand what it goes beyond, building something or making out something which is brand, and what is brand in the first place, because it's at times very hyped, abused or misused word also. How do you build loyal customers? How do you gain customer loyalty?
How do you build loyal customers is only and only by kind of being very honest with your product, being very honest with your pricing, being very responsible with the trust that they put into you, and kind of valuing them as you would value yourself when you go as a customer to maybe another place. So it's kind of putting them, putting yourself in their shoes and like kind of gauging what would please them, what would make them happy, and then delivering on that point.
Say there's a cold coffee which I love, and there could be a pastry or any product, right? So the cold coffee costs $400, right? How much is the money which goes into the raw material or the production cost overall, which can cover expenses and so on? And how do you decide it is that 400 rupees is the right price and
Okay.
not 450 rupees and not 350 rupees? And for me as a brand, I can sell this coffee for 400 rupees or maybe 800 rupees also without dipping my sales.
Okay. Very interesting question. And again, it is something that we don't formulate our products keeping a price benchmark or a competition benchmark. We formulate our product basis what we believe in, and we make a product. Pricing of that product is an organic or a very mechanical kind of an activity which eventually leads us to the price. I'll break it down for you and I'll tell you how it works. So first you make a product. So all the raw material that goes into making that product contributes to the food cost of that product. Then all the other things, overheads and all that go into creating that kind of an ecosystem for us to be able to make that product goes into something called the cost of goods sold, which we know in as a COGS, which is there. Then from here, now I have a saleable product. From here, it goes on to the stores, and at the store, to keep that product, to have people to sell them, the store level rentals and all those things, they contribute towards the store level expenses. All these add up and eventually gives us like what is our break even point. Like if we sell this product at this price, then we are not making any money, we are not losing any money. From here on, what kind of a profitability we want to attain is what is added into it, which is generally not something which is on a very high side, and it is generally about a 7%, 8%, sometimes 10,
That's the profit
11%
margin
sort
you're
of a
talking
thing.
about in your industry?
Like I'm talking about the net, whatever, I
Okay.
mean, you would want to keep, and accordingly you reach a landing price.
Hmm.
Now, this is a book value or the price that is on the paper. Then we look at the product, again look at the product and look at it from the point of view of a customer. Okay, I'm buying this for 400. I'm buying this for 400. Will I pick it up for 400? Is it too cheap for 400 or is it too expensive for 400? Rarely we get the answer that it's too cheap for 400. Generally, most of the time it is like, that inside duk 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 that 400 mein koi nahi lega isko. But that is when you kind of taste it and then you kind of believe in your product and you say, nahi yaar, 400 mein people will buy and this will fly off. So if you have that conviction, then that product goes on. If you don't have that conviction and if you feel, then you start strategizing that, okay, this is like a 450 ml serving at 400. Let me tweak it to 350 and price it at 350.
Do you do that? Do you
Yeah, we
strategize
do
like
that
this?
at times.
Do you
We
also
do
do a
that.
competitive survey that how much a Starbucks would be costing?
No,
Or
I mean, I don't do that. And because honestly speaking, it's never a situation of comparing apples to apples or oranges to oranges, unless and until I have access to what they are doing and how they are doing, which I don't. I don't have the access to their recipes. I don't have the access to their procedures and processes and their whole, cogs and everything. So how can it be a comparison of
so you will
apples to
play and
apples and
strategize with your
oranges?
own product, but you can't get into that.
Yeah, it's very difficult because it's like, and I feel that those who actually do that, they can go completely wrong, and they can really cause a lot of losses to their company because they are actually going. I mean, there are a lot of, yes, there are times when we do get surprised. Like very recently, I would not want to name, but there in this quick commerce space, we saw that Vietnamese cold coffee was being sold for $90 in a tumbler, and with all the accessories and everything and delivery coming in 10 minutes, and also it does kind of surprise you that how what is it that we are missing out on, or why is it that my raw material or my coffee is coming so expensive to me, and is it not coming expensive to them? But then if you kind of look back and you kind of correct everything, and then eventually you reach a conclusion that no, nothing's wrong with us, it's just that a lot of people are selling it at an underprice because they want to do market acquisition for now, and they later they would hike it up.
This has been wonderful conversation because you were talking about bakery or you were talking about products, but at least I was relating a lot to any business.
Yeah.
This was so educative, and I have to admit the amount of thought clarity uh, that you bring it to the table is simply amazing that I've experienced all my life. I have to admit that. Thanks a lot for this, and just for the audience, I want to tell you a bit about what Gaurav has built it. It's just not a culinary place or a pastry shop, patisserie shop, right? It's an institution in itself which he has envisioned. They're going on a market expansion. They should be touching close to 100 crores of revenue by the end of this fiscal. They have recently come up a big production place. They plan to now serve other vendors also through their products, through their facilities. A business that is purely built on ethics, something that Gaurav prides with, that he has not bribed anybody. not something very common in India. So it's not about just a simple business. It's about building up an educational or an ethical institution. Thanks a lot for all this that you spent the time in building up this and for coming on the podcast. And those who like it, please subscribe and like and Gaurav. Over to you.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was all mine. And what I really liked is that nothing in our podcast was scripted. I did not know the questions in advance. And I
Absolutely.
think everything was very organic and natural. And I loved chatting with you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you
Wish you
so
all the
much.
best.
I will treat you with a good cold coffee now in your restaurant. All right.
Let's do that.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.